Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, let's talk about that feeling. You know the one.
Oh yeah, I think we all do.
You wrap up a huge B2B consulting project. The client is just ecstatic, game-changing results delivered.
Lots of happy emails,
Yeah.
maybe even some virtual high fives.
Exactly. But then, often, it's just radio silence, right? All that amazing satisfaction, it never quite translates into repeat business or that stream of referrals you feel you deserve.
Because you and the team are immediately underwater again, tackling the next delivery crisis.
Totally. You're brilliant at the execution part, the delivery is spot on, but you are, let's be honest, leaving some serious growth potential and actual money just sitting there.
And that's exactly the challenge, the real pain point that came up the consultation notes we looked at today. Our source material, it focuses on this small but very successful procurement consultancy. Great at delivery.
Amazing results, yeah.
But they flat out admitted they were, well, failing badly at any kind of post-engagement follow-up. So we're not just going to, talk about their problem. We're digging into the SmartOps expert's playbook for automating that whole client relationship piece.
Right. So the mission for you listening in is to walk away with a really practical step-by-step plan. How do you implement an automated client nurturing system? One that, tackles the information overload, gives you consistency.
And, crucially, handles those tricky confidentiality issues you get in high-stakes B2B consulting.
We're talking about getting away from the manual grind and actually building a scalable system for growth here.
Yeah, and the solutions laid out, they use tech that's pretty accessible now, low-code tools like Notion, Make.com, layered with some AI intelligence. These ideas are really universal. If you find yourself focusing purely on project wrap-up and letting the relationship side slide, well, this deep dive is basically your blueprint.
For building that formal, automated process.
Exactly. Something that respects the client's time but keeps that relationship warm kind of perpetually.
Okay, let's get into it. How do we start building this referral machine? And why is it actually so difficult for consultants to nail this in the first place? So the consultancy owner in our source material, they pointed to three clear failures blocking their growth. First, the really obvious one, no structured process, at all. No formal system for asking about referrals or, testimonials.
Hoping it happens organically.
Which it rarely does, right? Second, and this one sounds painful, client data was just everywhere. Scattered across old email threads, random shared folders, proposals, invoices, a real mess.
Yeah, making any kind of systematic follow-up almost impossible.
And third, tied to that, they just didn't have the time or, frankly, the system bandwidth to draft personalized follow-up messages. So it just lingered on the to-do list.
Until it was way too late, yeah. But what's really interesting is how the source material connects that internal lack of capacity with a critical external factor in consulting. B2B clients, particularly when you've delivered something that gives them a significant competitive advantage, they can be really hesitant to share their consultant.
Ah, right.
They worry that if they reveal they used outside help, or worse, introduce you to a competitor, they'll lose that edge you just gave them.
Yeah.
Their secret weapon becomes less secret.
That makes total sense. I mean, if you just helped a client slash millions in procurement costs, the last thing they want is their biggest rival getting the same playbook next quarter from you.
Exactly right. So sending out some generic, hey, know anyone who could use our services? Email blast isn't just likely to fail.
It could actually tick them off.
It really could. It ignores that need for discretion, for confidentiality. It shows you don't quite get their world. So the approach needs to be much more high-touch, nuanced, really personalized.
But there's the paradox, right? Consultants are drowning in delivery work. They don't have the time for super high-touch manual follow-up.
Precisely. So the answer can't just be try harder or spend more time. It has to be smarter. It has to involve intelligent automation.
Okay, but hang on. Why not just use a standard CRM, like, Salesforce or HubSpot? Wouldn't that solve a lot of this?
That's a really good question, and it did come up. For a smaller consultancy, though, a full-blown CRM can often feel like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. It's overkill.
Too complex, too expensive.
Both, potentially. They're not managing thousands of small sales leads. They're managing maybe, say, 20 really complex, high-value projects a year. Using something more flexible, like a Notion database configured as a kind of CRM light, Gives them exactly what they need without the bloat.
So they're focusing just on tracking the project itself, the status, the outcome.
Yeah, exactly. Not a massive sales pipeline. It keeps the system simple, lightweight, and laser-focused on that post-delivery nurturing phase.
All right, this is where it gets really practical, the implementation details. Let's talk through this low-effort, high-impact automation workflow, replacing human memory with machine logic.
Okay, so the core setup relies on three main tools working together in sequence. First is centralization. They use Notion as that central hub, that CRM Lite we just mentioned.
Right. Every completed project gets its own entry. P details logged, the client name, the main contact person, the specific challenge you solved for them, and this is critical, the confirmed ROI or key result figure achieved. Gotcha. So, step one is the consultant actually has to input that success data cleanly. Make sure those quantitative results are right there in the Notion record.
Absolutely. That data fuels the entire system. Without it, the automation is generic. Next up, triggering workflows. For this, they use make.com used to be called Integromat. Okay, I know Make.
So make.com essentially watches that Notion database. The reason they chose Make rather than maybe some built-in CRM automation is its flexibility. It's really good at creating custom multi-step actions that connect different online tools together.
Okay, so make.com sees the status field in a Notion project entry flip from, say, in progress to completed.
And bam, that's the starting gun. It triggers a whole predefined chain reaction of events. Walk us through that chain reaction. What happens automatically? So the chain reaction, make.com kicks off three things, timed strategically. Action 1. Instantly, a branded thank you email goes out. Simple, professional, sent via their existing Outlook or Gmail account through integration. Nice, immediate acknowledgement. What's next?
2 days later, not immediately, give them a little breathing room, it sends out a short, non-intrusive feedback survey, maybe built in type form or something similar. The key is it's sent while the success is still fresh in their mind.
Okay, thank you then for feedback. What's the third step? Sounds like the crucial one for the consultancy team itself. Action 3, this is the internal trigger for the relationship. It automatically creates a task, could be back in Notion, or their project manager like Asana or Trello, reminding the specific consultant or account manager to follow up personally about a testimonial or a potential referral. And this task is scheduled for exactly 2 weeks after project completion. 2 weeks. Why that timing?
It's strategic. Gives the client some space after the survey, lets the dust settle, but it's soon enough that the project success is still relevant and the relationship hasn't gone completely cold. The system basically ensures you never forget that crucial follow-up window.
Okay, but now we circle back to that personalization issue. We need to make sure that 2-week follow-up email doesn't sound like a robot wrote it, especially given the confidentiality concerns. This is where the AI comes in, right?
Exactly. This is the really clever part.
How does OpenAI's GPT model fit in? How does it draft something tailored and, well, human? So, when make.com triggers that 2-week follow-up task, it doesn't just create the task. It also grabs those specific data points we stored in Notion. The client name, the contact person, the key challenge overcome, and that confirmed ROI figure. Okay? It then feeds this information into a prompt for the GPT model. The prompt might be something like, draft a warm professional email to contact name at client company. Reference the recent project where we helped them solve key challenge achieving ROI figure. The goal is to reconnect and subtly open the door for discussing a testimonial or referral. Maintain a highly appreciative and partnership-focused tone.
Ah, I see. So the AI isn't just guessing or writing generic fluff, it's generating its first draft based on specific confirmed success metrics from that project.
Precisely. So the draft email that lands in the consultant's inbox might start with something like, hope you're well. Just thinking about the great results from our recent project, particularly achieving that 25% efficiency gain in your Q3 procurement cycle. It's context-aware from the get-go. And that changes the consultant's task completely. Instead of staring at a blank screen trying to remember the details and craft that perfect email, which takes, what, 20, 30 minutes they don't have?
Right. Now, their job is just to review that pretty decent context-aware draft, maybe tweak a sentence or two and hit send or approve. Takes maybe a minute or two.
That's huge. It ensures every follow-up is personalized, relevant, respects the previous work, but without bogging down the consultant's time.
It keeps the high-touch feel scaled through automation. Okay, but before any of that cool automation can really sing, we have to deal with that second massive headache. the scattered data problem. Years and years of valuable client history just buried in old emails or lost in shared drive folders.
Yeah, that's the foundation, isn't it? If your source data is a disaster, the automation won't help much. You'll still be spending ages just trying to find the right contact details or remember what the project outcome was.
Exactly. You can't personalize based on data you can't find.
Now, the sources claimed this historical data cleanup, getting it all structured, could be done in under 2 weeks. Honestly, that sounds ambitious, especially for a team already struggling with basic data organization.
That's a fair point. 2 weeks is aggressive. But the key is it's achievable because the strategy isn't about cleaning up every single old document. It's about surgically extracting only the essential data points needed for the automation.
Okay, so how do they recommend doing that surgically? It's a stepwise approach. First, data consolidation for the past. The recommendation was to use a data extraction tool. Apify was mentioned. Now, people often think of Apify for scraping websites, right? Pulling data from public sources. But here, it's used internally. You configure it to crawl specific places, contain client data, maybe certain email accounts, specific folders in Google Drive or SharePoint. It looks for patterns. Names, email addresses, project names, maybe keywords related to outcomes like ROI, savings, achieved. So Apify acts like a smart internal digital archaeologist, sifting through the digital clutter to find just those key pieces of information and pull them into a structured list, like a spreadsheet. That's a great way to put it, yeah? A digital archaeologist. Then step 2, use make.com again for the automated import. Make takes that structured list extracted by Apify and pipes it directly into your nice, clean Notion database.
Ah, so you're bulk populating your CRM Lite with all that historical context in one go, overcoming years of data neglect pretty quickly.
That's the idea, a strategic push to get the foundation right. And then crucially, how do you stop the mess from just building up again? How do you keep it clean going forward? That's actually the easier part. Ongoing capture for the future. You set up simple rules or use tools, maybe email parsing tools integrated with Make, or just simple manual tagging discipline so that new client communications, new project documents, key outcome emails, they get automatically forwarded or logged into that central Notion system as they happen. So the database stays alive.
Perpetually live, yeah. The benefit for you, the listener, is huge. No more frantic searching before a client call. No more reinventing the wheel trying to remember project details. It's all there, centralized, instantly accessible. It saves time, reduces errors, and just makes you look much more organized and on top of things. Okay, so we've automated the follow-up workflow. We've wrangled the data mess. Now let's tackle that really thorny issue again. Confidentiality. What about those clients who are absolutely, positively not going to risk giving away their edge by referring you externally, right? The system's running, the data's clean, but the ask has to be right. This is where the strategy needs to get more nuanced.
How do you generate those valuable referrals and repeat business without making the client feel exposed or compromised?
The source material laid out some really practical, lower-risk strategies. They pivot away from that direct ask for an external introduction to a competitor.
Okay, what's first?
First, make anonymous testimonials standard practice. When you ask for feedback via that survey, explicitly offer the option for them to provide detailed positive feedback, but allow it to be attributed only by industry, or maybe company size, or the person's role.
So a VP of procurement at a mid-sized manufacturing firm saved 15%, something like that.
Exactly. Their company name is never mentioned publicly. You still get powerful social proof for your website or proposals, but the client's confidentiality is fully protected.
That handles the public perception risk. But how do you get actual new revenue flowing from that happy but secretive client relationship after the project ends? You can't just rely on anonymous quotes forever. No, you need more. And that's where the second strategy comes in, which I think is really smart. Shift the focus to incentivizing internal introductions. Internal, within the client's own company.
Yes. Instead of asking, do you know any other companies like yours? You ask, is there anyone in another department, maybe a different division, or even a subsidiary in another region within your organization who might benefit from similar results?
Ah, targeting siloed budgets. I like that. The procurement team you help might have a totally separate budget and set of problems from, say, the internal IT department or the operations team in another country branch.
Precisely. You're effectively treating different parts of the same large organization as distinct potential clients. It's often much easier and lower risk for your champion contact to make an internal introduction than an external one.
Okay, that makes sense. How else can you nurture that internal possibility?
A third tactic is content nurturing, but done right. Create something like a VIP client newsletter or exclusive insight briefing. This isn't your usual marketing fluff.
No generic blog post links.
Definitely not. This is high value, maybe sharing emerging trends in their specific sector, anonymized case studies relevant to their challenges, perhaps analysis of new regulations, content that your client contact would actually feel good about forwarding internally to colleagues because it makes them look informed and connected.
So it helps them internally while keeping your consultancy top of mind.
Exactly. And finally, the automation loops back in here for longer-term nurturing with AI-driven outreach.
How does that work for these confidential clients?
So the system flags clients who've been inactive for, say, 6 months, maybe 12 months. The AI then helps draft a very non-intrusive periodic check-in message. Again, it's not a hard sales pitch. It's contextually aware value.
Like what? Give me an example.
It might pull data about recent industry shifts or regulations discussed in the news, and the AI drafts something like, "Hi, contact name. So the recent news about new Regulation X. We recently helped a couple of firms in your space adapt their processes for this. Just wanted to share a quick anonymized insight we learned in case it's useful for your planning."
Very subtle, just a helpful nudge.
It keeps you on their radar as a strategic advisor, a source of useful insights, not just a vendor they used once. It keeps the door open for when they identify a new internal need or opportunity. So if we pull all this together, what's the bigger picture? What's the real payoff? Well, it's measurable. The sources we reviewed suggest that consultancies implementing this kind of, high-touch but automated follow-up system typically see a significant uptick in repeat business and qualified referral opportunities.
How significant?
The figure mentioned was often in the range of 20 to 30% increase over maybe 6 to 12 months. Plus, you're reducing your reliance on costly, cold lead generation efforts.
And fewer mistakes too, I imagine, because the messaging is based on actual data from Notion.
It's exactly. Less risk of embarrassing errors like getting the client's name wrong or referencing the wrong project outcome because it's all pulled from that structured data source.
But beyond the numbers, it feels like this really changes the nature of how the consultancy operates.
It absolutely does. The AI tools, the automation, they shift the team from being purely reactive, cleaning up messes, scrambling for follow-ups, to being much more proactive and data-driven about growth.
How so?
Well, imagine the system analyzing your client database quarterly. It could automatically flag your top clients who might be right for repeat engagement based on past ROI. It could even suggest potential upsell or cross-sell opportunities based on the challenges you solved previously.
And then maybe even draft those initial outreach emails.
Yeah, drafting those customized check-in emails needed to actually act on those insights. It turns relationship management from a chore into a strategic growth function.
Okay, this sounds powerful, but maybe a bit daunting to implement all at once. Let's give the listener, the learner, a really practical starting point. What's the roadmap? Good point. Don't try to boil the ocean. Here's a practical 5-step way to get started based on the sources.
Stop the scavenger hunt now. Just export whatever client and project lists you have right now out of spreadsheets, email contacts, wherever they live. Get a baseline.
Okay, just get the raw data out. Step 2.
Build the basic foundation. Create that simple Notion database your CRM light. Don't overcomplicate it. Start with just the essential fields: client name, project status, key contact person, and importantly, that confirmed outcome or ROI figure.
Keep it simple. Got it. What's 3?
Run a pilot. Prove the concept. Pick just one recently completed client project. Set up a basic make.com workflow for just that client. Watch for the status change in Notion. Trigger a simple thank you email. Maybe send that feedback to every link. Just see it work once.
Builds confidence. Okay, step 4.
Tackle the history systematically. Now you can start layering in that Apify or similar tool integration. Gradually work on extracting and importing that historical data into Notion. Don't try to do it all on day one. Chip away at it.
Makes sense. And the final step.
Commit to review and refine. This isn't set and forget. Schedule time, maybe once a quarter, to actually look at the results. Are clients responding to the emails? Are you getting survey feedback? Is it leading to conversations about repeat work or referrals? Use that data to tweak your message timing, your email copy, your survey questions. Iterate based on real results, not just guesswork. Hashtag outro.
The real value here, I think, it just comes down to consistency and actually applying these ideas, the tools. They're out there, they're accessible, many are low cost or free to start. The big shift is really about applying structure and process to leverage the high client satisfaction you're probably already achieving.
Yeah, it's about taking that great work you already do and making it work for you automatically to build future business. It's about stopping the leaks in your referral pipeline.
Fundamentally, yeah. You're turning great service delivery into a much more predictable, reliable engine for growth.
Well, this has been fascinating. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into using automation and AI to really transform those client relationships.
My pleasure. And maybe just a final thought for you, the listener, to kind of chew on.
Oh, I like a final provocative thought. Go on.
If you set up this system and you specifically start tracking which departments or divisions within those big client organizations seem most receptive to those internal introductions you're now encouraging, what patterns might emerge? What unmet needs or opportunities for new specialized services might that unique internal referral data reveal? Services you weren't even thinking about offering before.
Using internal referral tracking as a discovery tool for service innovation. Interesting. Something definitely for you to mull over. We'll see you next time for the next deep